Um, I do think that the most interesting card for Modern is Peter Parker's Camera or Phenomenon Recorder. Listen, I know it's annoying that we have two different sets and all the cards are named differently. One thing I found out is that on Magic Online, you can actually search the name of the Spider-Man card, Peter Parker's Camera, and then the Omen Path version should pop up. Nightmare at the 58 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So yeah, you type in the Spider-Man version. The Omen Path version does pop up. So that's very helpful. Thank you, Daybreak Games, for that one. So we haven't even started playing a single game of Spider-Man cards, and I'm already weary of the Omen Path jokes. I don't know. But I'm just going to try to avoid them for the most part. But I do think that this is kind of the most interesting card, Phenomenon Recorder. It's a 1-mana artifact. It enters with 3 film counters, which is honestly like infinite. It's almost unlimited film counters. Just like being able to activate this 3 times over the course of the game is just kind of it's more than you'll ever need. But for 2 mana, you can tap it, remove a film counter, and you'll copy and activate a triggered ability you control. Pretty simple. And also very complicated. So this is a 1-mana artifact, which means, of course, you can build your deck around it with Urza Saga. It's a cheap artifact for Mox Opal, which is great. But what are you copying? So there's a lot of like normal good stuff to copy. There's like Thought Monitor Draw 2s, Imri activated abilities, Mishra's Bauble draws okay. You can copy the Urza Saga Construct generation to make 2 constructs. You can copy the Urza Saga triggered ability to get 2 things. That you can copy Tezzeret's -3 ability. You can copy Tezzeret's -7 ability. There's a lot you could do. There's a lot you could do with Phenomena Recorder, and I also am interested in playing this card at Dice Factory. It seems pretty interesting in Dice Factory. Like copying Core Tapper's ability, like the Sacrifice ability, seems pretty dang good. You can copy some key abilities, although you can't go infinite with keys like you can with Rings of Brighthearth. Urza's Cave is a card that I've been wanting. I'm working on a Dice Factory build, and I'm playing 4 Urza's Caves and then 2 each of pieces of Tron, with the idea that I can like sack an Urza's Cave, copy the ability, and get 2 Tron pieces. So expect a lot of tinkering with this card. This is a card that is like a really, really fun modern build around, and there's a lot you can do. That being said, the first place for playing it is a little bit weird. I kind of just have to get this out of my system because I've had this kind of ready to go for a few weeks. You might remember the shell when Repurposing Bay got printed back in Aether Drift. And this is like a artifact birthing pod. It's a 3-mana artifact. Spend 2 and tap to sack an artifact, and then put a artifact with that mana value +1 into play. So you might remember that we were playing this deck with Sundering Titan. We're playing Cityscape Leveler and Filigree Angel. I actually really like the Filigree Angel. We're playing these cards, but it was really missing a good thing to cheat into play. But not only do you have, but now you have Extinguisher Battleship. So you can sack your Sojourner's Companions and your Thought Monitors, and you can just get to put an 8 mana value thing into play that sweeps the board and destroys a non-creature permanent. Ideally, just stone raining your opponent. And then now you have Phenomena Recorder to get 2 things. Or you could double up the trigger. So either you can get 2 battleships, or you can get a battleship and copy this trigger. Or you can get like a Battleship and a Sundering Titan, or a Battleship and a Filigree Angel, although that's a little bit weird, right? Because this kills your Angel. Or you can get Angel and copy this trigger. When this creature enters, you gain 3 life for each artifact you control. This was a really fun card to play with when we were working on it last. I didn't have the heart to cut it. I don't know. It might be right to cut and like play a Platinum Empyrean instead, because it pitches to Ugin's Labyrinth. But I think with the triggered ability that you can copy with this, it sounds really, really fun. So just some other pros to this deck. You get to play an Ugin's Labyrinth deck between the Imprintables and then the Sojourner's Companions. I think that's really cool. This is a really fun Enigma Jewel deck where you could use Enigma Jewel to activate your Phenomena Recorder, or your Repurposing Bay, or your Urza Saga. And you get to play a lot of blue sideboard cards. So definitely kind of a crazy deck that we're going to at least get out of our system here. And we got a lot of decks prepped today as well. Turnpike with the 50 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Andrew with the 47. Hope you're doing well. And Nightmare with the 58. Welcome back, everybody. This hand is very, very close. I'm going to keep. This hand is like insane if we draw Ugin's Labyrinth, especially because we can go turn 1 Talisman. Okay. Enigma Jewel is pretty good. I could I think I actually cut the Darksteel Citadel, which might have been a mistake. Yeah, I did cut the Darksteel Citadel because I was worried about my number of turn 1 blue sources. We might just cycle Sojourner's Companion to get a Razortide Bridge here. Then we can play Mox Opal plus Talisman next turn. Then we can go Bay plus activate, get a Synthesizer the following turn. Yeah, the problem with Leveler doesn't have an ETB. That was always the big issue with that card, but it is decent. Okay, so we drew Urza Saga, so let's play that. Let's cast a Talisman, see if this resolves. And then since this resolved, we'll go ahead and play another copy of Talisman. And then right now I have 4 artifacts. When I play the Repurposing Bay next turn, I'll have 5. Looks like I have enough to go Repurposing Bay plus activate next turn. Hydro Man is looking good in Standard. I remember looking at that card. I remember thinking it was not like close to a Modern card. That's not it. Okay, so it looks like they're not in the bot yet. Now, we could try to just make a Saga token this turn to play around some counter magic. The good news is if our opponent had Wrath Disguise, they should have already used it. So this costs... I guess one thing we could do... This is a bit weird, but let's get a little bit weird today. We can go main phase, make a construct, and then just cast this companion, and then see if my opponent wants to use a counter spell on this, then I can resolve the Repurposing Bay. I'm not sure about that, but I think it's kind of an interesting line. Scryfall looks for the Omen Path names, not the Spider-Man names. Tav. Boxfield, our wonderful sponsor, automatically translates the Spider-Man file into Omen Path for importing, which is really, really nice. Surprised Scryfall doesn't do that. You into 4 Wrath Disguise decks game what? They'd put a Consult the Star Charts to the yard. We'll see if they found one, a Wrath Disguise off the first Consult. They didn't seem to have it last turn. I mean, maybe I should just jammed. Because Mox would just use a Scryfall. Well, Mox would automatically translates into the Omen Paths, but I see. Alright, we're gonna... Alright, let's go to game 2. We have Force of Negations at the board. I guess we could have just jammed. They just didn't have the Wrath the last turn. I thought we might be okay for a turn. Alright, this is more or less the sideboard plan for control. Got the Angel, the Shadowspear, the Needle, and the Portable Hole for 4 Force of Negation. I know we kept our 4/4, but I'm trying to keep let's keep it going, you know. It's a new set day. It's a new set release day. I'm not trying to just cross my fingers and hope my 4/4 gets to attack 6 times, 5 times. I'm sorry, Repurposing Bay is the camera because of the weird stuff. Yes, I know it's very confusing and very annoying. I am worried that if I misname the cards too often using the wrong terminology, I may get the Pinkerton sent after me. But until that happens, we can all be a little confused together, I guess. It's very, very weird. No, we're playing 17 lands. We got Sink into the Stupor plus 4 Mox Opals. Classic Twitch chat comment. Oh yeah, Repurposing Bay. This is Repurposing Bay. This is Peter Parker's camera. Sorry about that. So I want to keep the Enigma Jewel in my hand for Force of Negation. So I think I'm gonna grab an Enigma Jewel instead of another camera. It's maybe kind of close. Seems fine. Let's do that. Between the Saga and the Bay, it seems like we really want one of these. Alright, so this is obviously really nice if we could get it to resolve. They can sign my Saga token ability, so I guess we just jam, and if this resolves, we get to Sundering Titan them, or Battleship them, probably Sundering Titan. I did really like this deck the last time we played it. It really felt like it was doing a lot of very cool things. It did feel like it was doing a lot of really cool things. And then I've just been kind of sitting on this idea of updating with Battleship until the camera came out. Why is the camera called Phenomena Recorder? Because Wizards of the Coast was too cheap to pay Marvel royalties. This is the information we. So a few chatters said that they said this in the Daybreak Discord. Is that Wizards of the Coast did not want to pay Marvel digital royalties, so they just cheaped out and made a very confusing set called the Omen Paths. And I'm already weary of all the jokes, the jokes that haven't even happened yet. I think I gotta keep this on the draw. Got an imprintable, got a Mox Opal. Puts on a Moldify. I didn't think they'd admit it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if they I'm not sure if that's like a Daybreak link or what, but listen, that's just what I heard. Okay, let's go ahead and print the Sundering Titan. And you can say you heard it from me, I don't care. Extinguisher Battleship. Okay, love drawing a Force of Negation. Definitely going to be a longer game, huh? So I think we'll play to the longer game here. That's true. At least we got Fleam. I also think Fleam is very funny. I think it's very funny, very relatable. It's the hottest new Magic meme, and I relate to it. I gotta force this. I think we'll pitch you the sink. Maybe kind of close. Your turn. 4 cards in their hand. Untapped Hallowed Fountain. The Wrath Disguise. X equals 1. So not killing my Ichor Wellspring, of course. Not the end of the world. And we got a camera. But not a lot to use the camera on. Seems like they have a Consign up. So honestly, just trading this for Consign is fine. So we're looking to draw a Repurposing Bay. We're looking... I guess is Thought Monitor castable? Thought Monitor not quite castable, huh? They bounced my bridge. Tune the narrative. They have 2 cards in their hand. If those 2 cards are doing much of anything, we're gonna have a hard time. We do have 6 mana if you count the Mox Opal, which is still a couple short of casting this Battleship. So we'll see what we draw. Yeah, I don't think a great first matchup. We did Sundering Titan them game 2, which was pretty fun. I think maybe if we kept Sync over the Enigma Jewel, we might be in like slightly better shape at least. They have all new art and flavor. Yeah, it's all new art. I haven't like looked at the flavor text or anything, but all new art and names. Gonna be all control and Boros to get the new brews. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if this resolves. If this resolves, I'm feeling pretty okay. I didn't play Rat Dispute. All right, they can pick up the Snapcaster. Let's just keep it going here. Let's keep this on the play. Do you think Superior Striderman has a chance to do random strats? The 4-mana Dimir clones a creature in a graveyard? No. Does not seem good enough to me. All right, so we're up against Living End because they surveilled this end. Or I guess it could be Neoform. Either way, seems like we want to get our Saga and play turn 1. Galen, the 36 months. Thank you. Welcome back. I think Carnage... Okay, looks like it's Neoform. Looks like Carnage is doing well. Tripled in price unless people are speccing. I mean, what is doing well? Like, the set is, like, not... is out today, right? At least on Magic Online. I don't know. I don't think it's been out. When does it? Did it come out on Arena today too? I imagine it's all still speculation at this point, right? So I don't have a main deck Vexing Bauble. I might just Needle Gristlebrand. Could go Mox Opal into Nettlecyst plus Ichor Wellspring, which doesn't seem great. Cycle's available summer. Mr. Negative Goryo's combo for Trick Shot. Waste 10 ticks. Yeah, I'm not high on Mr. Negative. Just seems like you want your big thing to cheat into play to be reliable, and that card isn't, but maybe I'm wrong about it. Down the face of the 26 months. Thanks, welcome back. So bring in the Void Mirror also, which is going to be like a tutorable way to stop their combo. The Harbingers can also be pretty dang good against them. They don't expect them a lot of the time. Let's got the Shadowspear. Let's got the Relic. Let's got the Portable Hole. Let's cut the Boots. Could probably cut the Needle. Cut the Angel. So that's enough room for at least one Harbinger. Let's cut the Nettlecyst and play 2. Similar in the mana curve. I think I want to keep these in. Seems like a good split here. They could consign the Void Mirror trigger. That's true. Still, it's a pretty good card against them. Do I like the design of Ghalta? I think it's fine. I wouldn't call it like the problematic card in the archetype if we're thinking that there is one necessarily. Okay, this hand's great. So we have turn 2 Repurposing Bay, and we've got Force of Negation up. Seems like I need to put back the Mox Opal. And yeah, I think I'll just play the Sync taps because I might want to keep this companion and play to sack to the Bay. If I draw like a Extinguisher Battleship next turn, that's what I'd rather imprint, right? The Graveyard of Consign. There's a Recorder, which I could just sacrifice next turn into a Void Mirror if I wanted. Kind of surprised Ghalta didn't get the if you cast it treatment. I don't know. The thing with Ghalta, it's like, you know, it's like a big thing you cheat into play that requires you to have another big thing in your hand already, right? Like, I think it's good specifically in Neo form, but I think there's a good reason like you don't see people Gorios in Ghalta. Okay, so maybe they've got Beseiju up here. Totally okay if they Beseiju the Saga, of course. So they might Beseiju my Repurposing Bay end of turn, which would let me like make a Saga token plus copy, but they didn't, so let's just go ahead and put a Void Mirror into play. Which will probably be what they Beseiju. If they do have Beseiju, they could just be on the Planar Genesis here. It is, I guess, really bad for us if they consign the Void Mirror's triggered ability, and then I can't Force of Negation. Alright, they resolve the Planar Genesis. They don't put a land into their hand. We have 2 artifacts in play, so our Thought Monitor costs 5 at the moment. They main phase Nature's Claim, which we can't Force of Negation, right? Then they cycle Genercent, probably getting another Hedge Maze, if I had to guess. Pretty sure they play 2. They do get another Hedge Maze. I know we're an artifact deck, so Void Mirror makes sense, but Lavinia would be so funny. Yeah, pretty hard to cast, but and you also can't bait into play. Alright, so right now we have 1 artifact, but then we're going to 2. The Thought Monitor costs 5. If we get Mox Opal, it costs 4, and so we can play it and sack it. Okay, we're not going to get the opportunity Unless you force this. Seems like forcing this is probably a mistake. Oh, sorry, I should have played the recorder first. Is the tension between Force Mirror something worth reconsidering? Reconsider it for me. Where do you think we should be going with it instead? I have one Void Mirror, like mostly for this matchup and for Tron, where you can just kind of like surprise get them. You know, it's just kind of a one of get you with Repurposing Bay. I don't know. I think it's fine, especially because like I don't know how many forces you're bringing in against Tron, anyways. So that's my consideration. You can reconsider if you think there's a better direction to go. Maybe I should have bait this into a land. No, sorry, I has to get one. Obviously, never mind. Maybe there's still good to like get Enigma Jewel off this though. I think Vexing Bob probably better main deck. Yeah, you could main deck a Vexing Bobble. You could have one in the side. For sure. Long game. This feels like it's something we look to tutor against matchups where Force is really strong. I don't think it's too gonna be cool. Just really sure. Yeah. I just like, when I say consider, I genuinely we could talk it out together, right? But like, I do think it's fine to play both together. I do think the first Void Mirror is a good getcha in problematic matchups. I do think Vexing Bubble was a little bit better in this matchup, but it's mostly like a getcha against Tron, and then if you have this, you don't need the Vexing Bubble as much because you also have the forces for this matchup. All right, so they pitch a Eldritch Evolution and a Summoner's Pact, and then they go ahead and go for it, and we Force of Negation. Weird that they tank so long on this. Wonder what that's about. So I guess we go... Oh, sorry, we don't have to tap this. We can just... We can get a Talisman, put Talisman into play, which is pretty funny. Then we can Harbinger them. It's a fun line. Alright, going to game 3. So on the draw for game 3, I'm not sure that much changes. I'm going to bring in the third heart. Well, no. I don't want to bring it in because they now know about it. So no imprintable for the lab. Gonna mulligan this on the draw against Neoform. No Force of Negation either. This hand's like really powerful or potentially really powerful, but I think just on the draw against Neoform, not having a Force of Negation or fast interaction is a very tough sell. And at least can have some maybe fast interaction. And maybe not. They get a forest off their Generous Sense, so they are ready to go against Harbinger. Possible that they kept a hand that's like particularly resilient game 2, although not a lot less likely if they're tanking, although they have passed. They might be worried about a Force of Negation. We can Void Mirror them next turn. Is Titan good in this matchup? I mean, coming down in double start rating is like it's what I was going to tutor off the Repurposing Bay. Some builds also play a White Source, but not the biggest deal. Just going to pause just long enough that they might think I got Force of Negation. They do grab Hedge Maze, which is great news for me. So weird that they would keep a 7 that seems this weak. As Voidmere stop them. If they cast a Allosaurus Rider, then it gets countered. But they've cast it here before I can get my Void Mirror down. Which is interesting. But it does seem like they don't have the combo. I think I need to get the Wellspring to kind of unmulligan a little bit since we're on this mull to 5. And now we've top decked Force of Negation, which was also something that could happen here, I guess. What did they pitch? They pitched a Veil of Summoner Disciple. I wonder if they have another Veil in their hand. I think it could make some sense. They graveyard a Misty Rainforest and they attack me for 6. This costs 4 mana. We have 3 at the moment. But now it costs 3 mana and we have 4. So if we draw an untapped land, we can Repurposing Bay the Thought Monitor. Maybe they would consign the ETB trigger if they had consign. Doesn't seem like they do. All right, just gotta hold for one more turn, maybe. Maybe we can kill their forest and play Harbinger. Although, I mean, they do have a big creature attacking me still. Although I guess if I just get Sundering Titan and then Harbinger, that should be fine. So I'm at 8 life. They play a Flooded Strand. They are indeed flooded this game. Yeah, the camera doubles up the synthesizer triggers. Well, I boarded out the synthesizer. Why not play that pre-combat? Weird. Wait, which one? Oh, the land? I mean, they're just, you know, they're a Neo form. They're not that used to attacking and blocking. I did board out the synthesizer. I did keep in the Nettlecyst, so we could grab that maybe and slap it on something next turn. All right. We lost to the Wrath Disguise control deck. We're a Force of Negation deck that beat the Neo form deck. Riveting modern gameplay here over at twitch.tv/AspiringSpike. Unfortunately, I've been hurt too many times. I've been hurt too many times by Elvish Reclaimer. All right, let's put the Titan back in the deck so we have 2 different tutor options here. Careful enough against Boros to talk like that. I'm okay playing against Boros. I'll tutor some battleships into play, hopefully. I would rather play against Boros than Jeskai control, absolutely. Could a version of this affinity artifact run Neoform for redundant 7/8 cheat? It's be very tough on the mana, but I would say it's possible. Now here's a modern deck. Don't get to Nettlecyst too often anymore. Grixis, so probably Reanimator. Keeps the card on top. And Dreams of Steel and Oil can take my Talisman. Let's draw a Bay. Nope. Back for 5. Did we take damage on purpose? Of course. This enters tapped. If I wanted to play the Enigma Jewel in turn 1, we had to play it, right? Oh, sorry. Did I take another one for the Nettlecyst cast? I might have. That wasn't on purpose. All right, let's cast a Thought Monitor. Draw 2. Let's go. Great draws. And we have Sync Up. If they play Frog, you definitely bounce on the stack, so they can't discard a big thing. Fine, I guess. Reveal a Fatal Push, which isn't very good against Thought Monitor. Draw another Lab. We'll just deal max damage here. Maybe not the most relevant in terms of like individual creatures hitting them, but against the Fetch Land, Shockland deck, there is a difference between being at 4 and 5, of course. All right. So the Wizard into Fatal Push makes me no longer think that they're Reanimator like we thought at the beginning here. I guess I want to keep it the Needle against the Frog deck. I might not want to sideboard very much, if at all. I might cut the Filigree Angel because they're control. I love Filigree Angel. Filigree Angel's indestructible. It's not, but it does gain a ton of life. When we played this deck last time, I really liked the Filigree Angel. I just liked it enough to keep it in. I think they're gonna have a good amount of like at least 2 or 3 meltdown Swiss board. We could play a couple forces on the draw. Maybe we could play second relic. So his hand's good if we draw an imprintable. It's okay if we draw a blue source. I think on the draw that's gonna be enough for me. Oh, sorry, I read an indestructible. It is incredible. I really did like it when we playtested it, and the dream of copying the life gain trigger with a camera seems so fun. Okay, so Tomio on their low mulligan. I think I'm gonna play a camera turn 1. This is the new card, Phenomena Recorder / Peter Parker's camera. Again, I do think this card is gonna be, I think a more normal affinity deck is gonna be better for camera. Potentially with Tezzeret also. I think Tezzeret is like kind of a particularly interesting angle to play the card, but I just kind of decided to get this out of my system first if possible. Yeah, is Aethersworn Sphinx the Cascader one? Yeah, you can copy Cascade. It's kind of interesting. I do think there's just like infinite possibilities with this card. I have a more normal affinity build. I don't have a Tezzeret build yet with it, but I do think it's good with Tezzeret. There's a lot to do. Okay, so I drew Repurposing Bay. So we're not gonna be making a construct this turn, I guess. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 artifacts. So I can go cast Repurposing Bay off of these 3. I have Mox Opal available. Maybe I want to Peter Parker's camera the Saga trigger so that I can get an extra artifact in play, which I might actually go for synthesizers, but making the Thought Monitors cost 1 mana does seem pretty dang good here. So definitely gonna get the first Mox Opal. So right now I can go Synthesizer into Thought Monitor. Right, this is 4, 5, yeah, so Synthesizer into Thought Monitor. I guess I'm just going to... Honestly, getting another Recorder sounds so fun. It's maybe not the right play, but it's definitely the fun play. I don't think we want either of those. And just like that, we're 2-1. Weird, weird league. So this is a turn 1 Talisman, turn 2 Synthesizer. Talisman plus Lavaspur Boots. Let's keep. It is always really fun when you get to play a Ugin's Labyrinth affinity build. They're on a mold of 6 here. Am I considering camera times Eve? I guess it's not something I thought about too much. Seems okay. I do think that camera has a lot of applications. I think it has a lot of applications. Can go in about infinity decks. Aether Vial. Dang it. I played a game like yesterday, I think, where my opponent, when turn 1 untap Godless Shrine, I'm like, oh, I can't beat a Thoughtseize, and then they just cast Aether Vial, but maybe a bit too much to ask for that to happen a second time. Do I think Heroes Hangout will be Ruby Storm playable? Having some 1-drops could be nice. The thing is, it's not really a 1-drop. I guess it's like okay to cast on turn 1, but it's like it doesn't really progress your like it's when you compare it to Rin's Resolve or the other Rin's Resolve, it like those cards almost always cost 1 mana when you're going off, and yeah, I don't know. I just don't really foresee that card doing a lot, I guess. Okay, well, Saga's a nice pickup, especially with the Lavaspur Boots. I do need to think about maybe cycling Cycling this end of turn. But I don't know. I think it could be good. For the most part, I think I'm still kind of Dragon Range's Channeler pilled, I guess. But maybe Heroes Reunion makes it. It's like definitely something you should be testing if you're a Ruby Storm main, and it seems like the kind of thing that I don't feel like I need to be devoting stream time to. I think we'll just let them take the sink. Artifact land makes the constructs bigger, makes me happier. Is the casting of Cryogen Relic too hard for this deck? Do I have to look up Cryogen Relic? You're gonna make me do that. What kind of sick game is this that you would make me read Cryogen Relic? Isn't that the kicker card? That's like a 3-mana artifact that you kicker and you get multiple copies. Oh no, Cryogen Relic, that's the Ichor Wellspring. That's the Ichor Wellspring. I see. I don't know. It's Ichor Wellspring being actually colorless is really nice in your Ugin's Labyrinth deck. So I think I don't think you really want to play a lot of copies. I think that the main reason to play that card, Cryogen Relic, is with the new hide in the attic that flickers X cards. I think the fact that it's like for each Cryogen Relic you get to draw 2, it seems really good with that one. So I think that'll be Cryogen Relic's debut. But I think in your Ugin's Lab deck you want to play Ichor Wellspring instead. Okay, they keep a card on top. Relic does pitch to Forest. We're not main decking Forest. We have plenty of blue cards for Forest. But I do think, we're not playing the Flicker card. So they could be playing Reanimator. Let's see if they hit me with the Solitude Ephemerate. Does seem like they have it. And they're worried about Vexing Bauble. Okay, they pitched the Wisp, so they're not playing Reanimator, which is news. Get to gain a bucket of life. And then I guess we're going to grab Mox Opal and then cast Repurposing Bay this turn. Sorry about that, Dragon Lord. I'll try to do worse next time. One, two, three, four, 5 artifacts for affinity if we draw one of our 7 drops. Romantic Rendezvous, Heroes Hangout, Spider-Punk, Electro, Shadow Goblin. I don't think Electro is going to make it. Electro seems like a lot worse than Birdie. I also don't remember what Romantic Rendezvous was. I do think I remember it being good. Discard a card, then draw 2. That can't be it. That can't be it. Maybe it is it. There's a million of those effects though. Do they have a second Ephemerate? That'd be bad. Maybe a Thoughtseize? Oh, you draw 2 if your hand is empty. Okay, that I did miss that. I did miss that is. I just missed that completely. Very interesting. All right, I guess we want to grab the Nettlecyst. Although wait, my Synthesizer got discarded. I could have grabbed Synthesizer, just cast Bay. That probably would have been better, but not an option, so let's do this. Okay, yeah, I mean, yeah, Romantic Rendezvous, that card is really interesting. I might want to. I have a deck that's playing Bitter Reunion. Probably better because it's an Archon deck to still play that one. Cool. Totally missed that on the set review. I just thought it was another cathartic reunion. Alright, no creatures in the yard right now. They do find an Emperor of Bones or a Witch Enchanter. They do choose Witch Enchanter, which they cannot play untapped, so they play on Marsh Flats. They might be trying to kill my Nettlecyst with the next turn, chump with the Solitude this turn. I don't have any 4s to get in the deck, which might be a problem. We take that down to 4. We draw a Portable Hole. So they're saying that their last card is exactly Fatal Push. Drawing the portable hole is weird. Okay, we win. Unless the last card's Solitude. So I activate the Repurposing Bay here. Because this has Ward 1, this turns off Fatal Push and Felia block. And then if they had cast Felia in response to the activation, then we could have Portable Hold. But their last card's Solitude. So your turn. And that's magic. Get him, and then not really. Alright, so they're at 9 life. I'm at 27. They got one card in their hand. What happens if you use the camera to copy the camera? Do you get infinite triggers? Well, I'm a little confused how you think that works. I don't have any 4s in the deck. It's just like a little bit weird to play 4s. There are also barely any good 4s. It's like the Black Gear Hulk is kind of the best one. I just don't know if I want to use the portable hole or save it. I think I'm just going to go ahead and cash it in. A little ways from hardcasting that. Might happen this game. Really need an affinity creature. We still have 7 in the deck. And get 2 looks at it next turn. So this could stick down to 2. The draw card. I'm gonna just gotta grab another bay here though, but we can activate the other bay. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just grab a camera. Very odd game. So I can get double Talisman by copying a Lavaspur Boots sack, which can let me get up to this Angel maybe. They mill over a Flicker Wisp, which they don't have the Marsh Flats mana, so they're not super. They can't cast it this turn. They could cast it next turn. They can also grab a Quantum Riddler or a Solitude or an Emperor of Bones. They choose Solitude. The coward's choice. Come on, affinity creature. Instead, we draw an Enigma Jewel. So let me go ahead and sack Lavaspur Boots, hold priority. I have my finger on control, so I'll be really annoyed if I can't copy this. Thanks, Magic Online. I had my finger on control. I don't know why I wasn't able to copy. Yeah, camera ran out of film. So right now we have 3, 4, 5, 6 mana in play. So what I could do next turn is I can turn this into another mana off the Talisman. But I would have been able to hardcast the Angel next turn. By having an extra Talisman in play, now I'd have to draw a land. You activated before you had finger control? I didn't. I promise I didn't. Okay, I think I did click I clicked this and then I hold control. So I have to hold control before I finish clicking through. But I certainly had my finger on control before I paid the cost, but not I think maybe I pressed it after I clicked on this. Which is very silly that it works that way, if that's what the problem was. Their Overlord is coming online here. It's good to know, so the problem won't replicate at least. Let's get a plus 10 minutes on clock prediction. We are only plus 7, but we're plus 7 when my opponent's got like 3 mana, a Solitude, and 3 other cards. Just can't have that many options here. Toborg at the 57. Thanks, welcome back. They play a Witch Enchanter, untapped, into another Witch Enchanter maybe, into a Flicker Wisp on the Overlord. So I would love to be able to draw one of my 7 affinity creatures and then get 2 Battleship triggers and kill their board and kill 2 of their lands. Otherwise, just gaining the life off the Angel. Although they did kill the Jewel, which means I won't be able to Angel this turn. 4, 5, 6. So my Relic is gone. Yeah, I would have been able to cast this Sundering, this Angel, but I don't think I can anymore. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Cost 8. Wait, they targeted the one that was already impending. So this is 5. 5 plus. Okay, I'm not dead then. Very weird game. Oh, they flickered the Witch Enchanter. Sorry, I just noticed that. What did they kill? I don't know why I thought they didn't. Okay, I'm holding control. Okay, I sacked the Nettlecyst on accident. Sorry, chat. I meant to sack the Needle to get another Talisman so I could set up to copy the... Filigree Angel trigger next turn. Maybe it is past my nap time. I want to bring the new Omni deck you built RC Houston next month. Playing a lot of Moto. Can't seem to get around the Infinity decks that seem to outpace me. Yeah, I guess I don't know what the question is, but, you know, if you could clarify, let me know. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we're going to gain 24 life off the Angel next turn. Unless we can finally draw an affinity creature. Alright, they return another copy of Flicker Wisp. So they might be killing something this turn. Might just target the Overlord. They do target the Enchanter. I don't even know what they're... I guess they're going to target the camera, probably. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If they target a land, I can't Angel. They do target a land. I guess not too... Okay, what an embarrassing game. Alright, let's go to game 2. Okay, I've been liking Consign against them less and less. I do think having some Force for Wrath of Skies post board has got some merit. They keep a Needle for Frog and Emperor, but we also have the Portable Hole. Also hits Felly. Probably worth keeping in. Very weird game. Magic Online cost me a Talisman, then I cost myself a Talisman. Which means I could never cast my Angel. My sweet Angel. Okay, let's cut the Needle. Just play 2 Force. Their Wraths are also, like, in theory, not as effective against us, because we can power out some of the bigger stuff and they don't have any energy generation. In practice, we'll see if that's the case. Peter's Fargus Camera strikes me as a Dice Vector card. Yeah, it is. It's especially good with Tezzeret, I think. You can, like, untap the camera. You can copy Tezzeret's minus. You can copy Tezzeret's ultimate. I have a start of a list for it where I'm also playing Urza's Cave. So I'm down on the Tron lands to 2 Tron lands each, and I'm playing 4 Urza's Cave. And so you can copy Urza's Cave ability to get your other, like, 2 missing Tron pieces. But one thing I don't like about that is that you kind of have to have artifact mana for that to work. So I just don't know. But that is tech we've tried in the past, and it's been at least interesting, if not good. Yeah, copying the card -2 is good. Very mana intensive stuff though. Is Oswald worse than Repurposing Bay? I think so. Like, just like Fiddlebender is a creature that you have to untap with, and Repurposing Bay is an artifact you don't have to untap with. It's also in a better color. Like, just the fact that you don't need to untap with it just allows you to, like, really build your deck this way. But if you build your Fiddlebender deck like this, and all of a sudden, your deck just folds completely to, like, a single removal spell, you know? Alright. You know, our draw is incredibly weak to Wrath the Skies, but I think not super realistic to play around at this game. Could we have activated thing activate the thing that pods during their turn, or sorcery only? Yeah, it's only sorcery. You can copy Tezzeret on top. I mean, that is relevant with like a big battery. All right. They grab a Solitude. They might be Solituding a Construct here. We might be companioning. So we're going to be playing... This is going to be Artifact 4, and then I can play one companion this turn. They don't Solitude me, which makes me a little bit worried about Wrath the Skies. They might just have Ephemerate, though. Alright, they got a Solitude in their hands. Let's keep this show on the road here. I guess we could work with this on the draw on the blind. A lot of the like Mayhem cards are just kind of like generically good in Hollow One, and we're trying Shadow of the Goblin, the Hobgoblin, and Scarlet Spider in like Jund Vengevine. I updated Nautilus Nadu with both Web of Life and Destiny and Sandman. I think Sandman's mostly like a Risen Reef Nissa package kind of card, and this is a Risen Reef Nissa deck that I really like and I want to return to. And I think it also uses Web of Life and Destiny really well, where you can play Safekeeper and Wall of Roots to just convoke out better and dump a bunch of value into play. I think it's interesting. Yeah, I have one Carnage Brew posted. I think it looks pretty cool. Can you board that card that stops counters? You play versus Wrath. I mean, I have Force of Negation against Wrath, which is the best option because it costs 0 mana and doesn't die to like removal spell. I don't know which card you're talking about. It's like the one that stops energy, like the 2 mana creature. I hate that it just dies to like all the removal spells, or most of the, not discharge, I guess. Okay, I also have Parker Luck, which is the new Calibrated Blast. In a Calibrated Blast shell, where you're trying to put Archon of Cruelty, Troll of Khazad-dûm, or Shadow of Mortality to deal 15, 7, or 8 damage off of Parker Luck triggers or Calibrated Blast triggers, and you also have a Reanimator Plan B or Plan A. I have a more normal affinity deck that's playing Lady Octopus, the other blue woman artifact that cares about artifacts. I'm playing Corey Steelcutter and Cranial Plating because I think you need a bunch of this kind of stuff to cast with Lady Octopus, otherwise she doesn't do a lot. I'm just trying to be a bit more aggro and get to play the full 8 Moxen. And then I've got Carnage in this Rakdos Chthonian Nightmare build, where we're trying to like recur FOMO, Bowmaster, Spyro, Fulminator Mage, Improv Bones with Carnage by discarding it to looting or fear of missing out. I think it's particularly good with Nightmare, where you can, or in Unearth, where you can like Unearth or Nightmare back Spyro, discard Carnage, then Carnage something else back all in one turn. Also just naturally good with looting, right? How do I vote for Carnage? I don't know. I'm just trying to talk myself into one of these. I don't know. There's a lot of exciting stuff. I haven't built Lady Octopus Belcher. Not yet. I do think Lady Octopus is interesting in Belcher. We do have an older Mox Opal Belcher build that I'm just kind of planning to circle back to when it's time. I just don't know if it's time yet. Yeah, I kind of want to play the Calibrated Blast deck next. I don't know. We're going to be getting to all these this week. We got a lot of fun stuff to do. Don't need to rush into anything. So my opponent probably has at least the first Leyline Binding. Would you be interested in swapping all my Mox Opal Stone Paths to Spider-Man? No, holy shit, I'm so uninterested. I am so annoyed by all of this. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that it's annoying, and I'm also annoyed by it, but holy shit, I'm so not interested. Alright, I'm gonna concede against Doorkeeper Thrall. That card is so annoyingly good against me. It stops like all of my crazy big stuff from entering, and we got some other stuff to get into. Okay, I think I've talked myself into Parker Luck next.